Hi everyone, this is Troy. Today I'm going to talk to you about my aquarium stand build. Built the frame last couple days, and I'm going to give you a little insight on how I approach this. Just a quick couple minutes background on myself. Been out of the hobby for about 5 years. Really excited to get back into it. Kind of sparked my interest over the last month by watching some other YouTubers, most notably New York Stilo and MrSaltwaterTank.com. Especially New York Stilo, he's got some great videos on him basically chronicling his 90-gallon reef tank build. Really got me excited to get back into it. So here I am, starting out with building my stand. Why did I build my stand? A few different reasons. One, the stands you get inside the pet store, you can buy from the pet store, most of them come with this center support between the two doors. Center support, center style, whatever you want to call it. I didn't like that. I really, it makes it extremely difficult to get a very large sump in your tank. Harder to do maintenance on your tank once you have it all set up. And so that's one of the reasons. You can buy stands that don't have that center brace, but they're pretty expensive. So that, and I have most of the tools, and we'll go over them here in a second. I pretty much had all the tools I used to do this build, so I didn't have to go out and buy tools. I just had to go buy the wood, which is pretty inexpensive. All the wood to build the stand that you see here, plus the plywood to cover it, which will probably be in a following video, was $100. So it's pretty hard to beat that. It'll be a little bit more than that because I haven't bought the wood for the doors. And the hardware to mount the doors on, and the stain, because I'm going to stain it black. But still, it's going to come way under. A lot of those stands are anywhere between $300 to $800. So that, and I think you get a much better construction out of your stand than you do kind of that factory built stuff. If you ever take a look inside there, I'm kind of surprised they put tanks on some of those stands. So. That, and I wanted to maximize the amount of room I had inside the stand, so I could kind of get the largest sump I can for this reef tank. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the tools I used. This miter saw here is one of the main tools that I used. Basically makes all the cuts easy. This jig. You can get this jig at Lowe's. It makes pocket holes for kind of attaching the boards using screws. This jig together with the clamp ran me about $100 at Lowe's. Now, if you're not going to use this ever, other than for this one stand build, and you want to use pocket, kind of pocket holes, the approach I took to screwing the boards together, you can buy just this piece at Lowe's, and it would come with the screw, the drill bits. I think that's right around $20. It's a little bit more affordable. And then basically a cordless drill. So, basically what I did is, I spent some time researching some different builds, stand builds on YouTube. And I took a couple different approaches from the various videos that I watched, kind of meld them together into what you see here. So to start the build, what I did is I created the front and back frame, which basically consists of a top 2x6, a bottom 2x6, and then two vertical pieces that are attached using these pocket holes, where you can basically screw down from this board down into this board here. I got a little scrap board that I drilled. So basically, on one side of the 2x6, I have two pocket holes for the screws, and on the other side I have a center one. And that's kind of what I did. with all these vertical pieces. So it's screwed up into here and it's screwed down into the bottom 2x6, and the same on the other side. So I created this front picture frame, for lack of a better term, and then the same thing on the back side. And then from there, basically attached them. Started by putting the 2x4 on the bottom that you see there, one on the other side, and then I put this center piece in, the center style. This is mostly just to keep the two boards aligned. And then I screwed in the top here, which is another 2x6. It's screwed in with using 3 screws just right through this center piece here, right into the 2x6. Then I put these vertical pieces in. You know, by just having this piece here, you know, a lot of the weight's on those screws. Basically, by having this piece, this brace here, it's my attempt to transfer some of the weight to this vertical style here, this vertical piece support right here. So, did it on both sides. You know, the one nice thing about this approach is that bottom shelf in the tank. You know, the stand. You know, a typical 90-gallon fish tank is 48 inches by 18 inches. So this stand is that dimensions, or those dimensions, actually a little bit over. But inside I'll have a full 48 inches from a length standpoint, and a little over, you know, 15 inches where I can really maximize the size of my sump for this 90-gallon reef tank. So that's kind of the gist. Oh, one note is that, you know, when you get a 2x4, it has a rounded edge to it. And what I did is ran these 2x6s through my table saw. Basically shaved off that rounded piece. That's kind of what you see here, is a piece of scrap. And what that really allows is to have a super tight joint for these vertical pieces when they attach up to your cross member here. So that was one tip I pulled off of YouTube. Great tip. If you have a table saw, highly recommend it. If you don't, you know, you probably can make do without doing it. Just makes life a little bit easier when you're putting the thing together. So what's next? Basically this weekend what I'm going to do is put the bottom shelf on, cover up, you know, over those 2x4s on the bottom. That's going to be a 1/2-inch sheet of plywood. I'm going to enclose the back with another 1/2-inch sheet of plywood, cut some holes in it for some of the cords, cut some holes in for a fan and some ventilation in the back. And then on the sides and the front, I have a maple plywood. So on the sides, I'll have 1/2-inch maple plywood. And then on the front, I have 1/4-inch maple plywood. And the reason why I did that largely is obviously I don't need it for any kind of support because I have the 2x6s there. It's just to basically cover up the 2x6. And the other nice thing is when I have basically one 4x4 sheet of plywood. When I cut out the opening in the center, I can reuse that cutout as the center pieces for the doors. So that's the plan anyways. You know, I'll push out another video. It kind of covers, you know, my process for applying or installing the plywood. Yeah. There you have it. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm pretty stoked to get moving with the build, get to some of the fun stuff, buying some of the components and getting everything installed and up and running. It's gonna take me several months. You know, I sold off all my gear back in the day, and I got to basically go in and reacquire everything, which a lot of you know is kind of an expensive venture. So I'm going to have to be doing that over a course of several months. But the stand's coming along, and so if you have any questions, you know, go ahead and comment, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. All right. Yeah. So there you have it. All right. Peace.